Don, this is Lindy. Don, I wasn't able to.
Star, are you able to mute?
Yes, I can view. I don't have video option on my laptop, so I don't have a video of me.
Are you able to mute your phone?
I was muted, and I think you must have unmuted me. So yeah, I think I can mute myself.
Thanks.
It's GIS and it's.
Go ahead, Lindy. I'm sorry. I was talking to you, but I muted mine.
I wasn't able to talk to Paul Maroon. I called him about 3 times.
Yeah, he's on now.
Okay.
I'm on, Lindy. I was on the phone when you called.
That's okay. I'm sure you're busy. Did you get my message?
I did not. Check it.
Okay. Okay.
Listen, Ed, too. We don't have Ed here yet.
I'm on now, Donnie.
Are you on?
Yeah, just got on. Thank you.
5 is Ed, I think.
Is Andrea on?
Yeah.
Yes, Lindy, I'm on.
568's on scene dispatch.
Saturday, like, went today to do that.
Lindy, I did read your message.
I did it.
We'll talk about it
Thank
this morning.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna start with some of the items that we need to discuss. I sent a copy to everybody on the North Country Community College budget. On that budget, there was he's asking to. Usually his budget is due June 1st, and he was wondering if we could do mid-June, the early July, because of all the things going on, and he don't know what he's going to be getting for money.
Yep, I agree.
I agree.
Okay with that?
Yes.
I agree. Yes.
In our meeting yesterday, we talked about in our economic development committee meeting. That committee is going to, or the economic development committee is going to look at the board members on the TAC committee and try to align them up with where they belong as far as the different positions that they have and who belongs with those positions. We haven't done that in a while. I think we need to look at it. And I think Ed, wasn't that what you said you were going to do?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna get with Andre and Lindy and go through them and try and figure it out.
Yeah, as best we can, you know. And we haven't done that in a long time because we've been just trying to keep things afloat and things like that. I think it's a good time to do it now while we're in pause. So they're going to work on that. Okay, Grant. Star has something she wants to say on that, right?
Yes, this is Star. I just unmuted myself. So can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
So yes, the Development Authority is soliciting participation for a new GIS grant opportunity. And this grant funding is through the Local Government Efficiency Program through New York State Department of State. And typically this grant program is part of the consolidated funding application that happens every year. And so we are putting this grant together and soliciting participation from all of our current GIS hosting customers in Franklin County and St. Lawrence County. And so that's about 35 potential partners to be part of this grant. We just started soliciting participation this week. And so far, we've had a lot of interest from municipal partners who want to be part of this project. This GIS project will focus on developing data for highway and public works and some of those other categories we've never really been able to map before under other funding options. So for this round, we're really focusing on mapping road and street lines, culverts and bridges, sidewalks and curbs, municipal cemeteries. And then we're also doing some water, sewer, and electric mapping for some municipalities that were going to be part of another grant project that funding source fell through. The Village of Silver Lake was actually going to be the lead on that particular project, and then the Archives isn't funding GIS anymore. So those communities that were to be part of that group, which includes the village and the town of Champaign and a couple other municipalities, are being wrapped into this new project. And so we're pulling this together and in hopes that we'll have an application to submit at the end of July. Every participating municipality is going to be responsible to pay for 10% of their portion of the overall project budget, because the LD grant requires a 10% match. So we've gone through with all of these municipalities about what it will take for us to map those items that I talked about. And then we put together that budget, and then we're, like I said, as we're soliciting these participation, we're letting municipalities know what their 10% match would be if they want to be part of it. The rest of the 90% of this project will be funded by. So the other thing, when I spoke with the county superintendent, highway superintendent a couple weeks ago about what he would like to see mapping, he mentioned that he would really like to see county road, street, center line striping mapped, because sometimes over the years as they go back and need to repaint the center line, it's hard to tell where the passing lanes should begin and end. And if we put that into the GIS, then he'd be able to see that. So we're also doing that mapping for counties. So for county, you are GIS host of ours. And so we are, would like to see if you would like to participate, but we'd also like to see if Franklin would be the lead agency. We need a municipal lead agency for this project. And if Franklin County would be the lead, then that would be great. We, the Development Authority, will help with all of the grant administration. So we will prepare and submit the grant for you, and you'll be able to review it. And then this is a reimbursable grant. So what that means is if the project is awarded, we would be submitting payment requests quarterly, and we would help you with those disbursement requests. And then the payment would cover the 90% of those submitted costs, and the match would be that remaining 10%. There's also quarterly progress reports that would need to be submitted, and we would help you prepare those and get all that grant administration stuff done for you. So if the county does want to participate, your 10% of your portion of the budget would be up to $3,050. And so what I've given you is kind of a write-up of the grant, a sample solution that we would need Franklin County to approve if they want to be the lead and participate. And then also in the packet I gave, there's a sample of the agreement that the Development Authority would execute with Franklin County if the project was awarded. And just one more detail on this, the typically for CFA grant applications, they're due the end of July. Department of State has told us that CFAs are delayed right now, but they're not canceled. So we don't have a deadline. We're still working towards that end of July deadline. Award announcements are typically made in December. And so we would be looking at starting the project in January 2021. And we're looking at a 3-year project timeline to get all of the participants mapped. So right now, we don't know how many of those 35 potential municipal partners are going to come on. We are attending board meetings the next couple of weeks to solicit participation. But potentially, we would have like 35 municipal partners to be mapped over 3 years. Looks like, Don, you're trying to talk.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I was. I asked if anybody had any questions for Star.
Star, is it $3,050 annually or a one-time payment?
That is your one-time, that is your portion of the 10% match. So that is what the county would owe essentially to be part of the project.
And I know you said that you would help us work with this. Who on our side would be doing the work?
So you would designate somebody. If you have somebody who does grants, I could work with them. We do a lot of this kind of grant administration for municipalities that we're doing projects with. And so we're really good at, in fact, I'm probably, every month I have about 4 disbursements that I work through for various municipalities. And so we would just need a representative from the county that I could work with, whoever is officially allowed to sign financial documents and that sort of thing, most likely the county manager.
Okay. So, and you'd like an answer probably within the next couple of weeks, probably.
Oh, well, I need an answer much sooner than that, because if Franklin County does not want to be the lead, then I have to try to find another municipal partner to be the lead. But I do need to go fairly quickly.
And what's the requirement of the lead? Is it just in paper, or is it?
Well, essentially, so as the lead agency, you are going to be receiving the grant funds. You would be contracting with the contractor, which would be us, the Development Authority. And then you would be responsible for all that grant administration. But like I said, as part of our contract with you, we would be doing that. But essentially, as the lead agency, you're the one responsible for the grant.
And who are some other options for your lead?
We haven't really reached out to anybody else yet. We were really hoping Franklin County would be the lead. You guys have a need for this data. You don't have any GIS data in your highway department. And you guys have, your GIS has been very popular and successful. You're up to about 34,000 views, and you're averaging about 3,000 to 5,000 views on your GIS portal every month, depending how the month goes. So we would like a county to be the lead, and so we wanted to see if you would do it.
Stars. So when we become the lead, if we were to become the lead, and then how do we not become responsible for all the other participants if they don't make their payment?
Right, so that's a good question. So we are getting resolutions from all of the participating partners committing themselves to the project and to the 10% match that they would pay to the lead. So we are getting, every participant has to pass that resolution saying they will do that. And so it would essentially pay their 10% to Franklin County.
This right here? Yeah, it's worth it.
Don. Donnie? Oh, you're mute.
Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I'd like to refer to a committee, to have maybe start sit down with the committee, you know, and discuss it further along with Donna and maybe Jonathan, and then have the committee come back with a recommendation.
Okay, so if we could let you know like in a week, would that be okay?
I think that would be.
I'd say a week to 10 days at the most.
He's asking her.
Yes, yes, I think that would be fine. And I'd be happy to speak to a committee.
Yeah, so I have one other question. What's the overall targeted budget look like for this?
It definitely depends on how many participants join in. If all 35 participants join in, we're looking at a budget of about $500,000. We already know a few are not going to participate. And so my target really was a $300,000 project.
So when do these payments, when are they required?
So I am telling participants that if the project is awarded, then they need to pay their match in year one. So even if we don't map them until year 2 or 3, we want them to pay their match so that you guys have the match available in an account as you guys are receiving the funds and then also paying the contractor.
Right. So I guess, so if somebody didn't make their payment, Franklin County as the league would be responsible in the end.
Well, essentially, if somebody doesn't make their payment, that means we're not going to map them. And so those funds wouldn't be spent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be in the 2021 budget, the funds.
Correct. Correct. Because we're looking at hopefully an award announcement would happen in December. So we would start the project in January 2021. Yeah, so it is a reimbursement grant. So essentially, we would be doing the work and sending an invoice to Franklin County for whatever work we have done. So if a municipality doesn't pay, then we won't do their mapping. And so then we wouldn't be incurring those costs. Does that make sense?
It does, but if it's a reimbursable grant, then technically we need to spend up to $500,000 and then wait for our reimbursements back.
No, so the disbursements happen quarterly. And so, you know, we would put in those disbursements as we go along.
Right, but we put up the money up front and then we wait for reimbursement back.
Correct. You pay the invoice and then.
If the invoice was $50,000, we pay that and then we would wait for reimbursement back.
Correct, from Department of State.
That's the scary part right now.
But Don, the way the budget's working now, not our budget, but the state with their grants, this could be another year or 2 years. The way the grants are working now with the state. Am I correct? Star?
Well, so are you talking about whether or not the grants are going to be awarded?
Or any grants at all, because their state is saying that they're not going to, we're not going to receive any grant money, according to what we're hearing. And any new grant, they're sure not going to take any out of new grant, are they?
So the latest that I've heard from Department of State is that the consolidated funding application is still going to happen this year. They haven't released it or set a deadline yet, but my message from Department of State was to continue to put grants together as if it's happening. So I haven't been told that no grant funds would be dispersed for 1 or 2 years, but it's possible. I mean, but I've been told to keep working as if we will have a deadline at the end of July.
Well, I hope that's true story, but.
Well, I think we can let the committee discuss it and come back with a recommendation if that's,
Right, right. If anybody has any questions or stuff, they can get a hold of the committee chairman and they can bring the questions to Star. And, yeah, what committee is it gonna be, John?
Property tax map office?
uh,
GIS issue.
I think that building and grounds, wouldn't it be the same as the highway building and grounds?
Or would it be GIS, the real property?
Real property?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm
Well, we can look
assuming
at it after, figure it out.
Dank would be moving forward unless they get their approval letter from the state. This is on the agenda for the Village of Malone also. I think it's just steps to go through, and they're not going to start the work unless they get the approval letter from the state.
We'll put it under whatever committee Paul Lowe's is on.
Yeah.
Well, we need to decide what committee's gonna work on it for sure.
Yeah. you may-
Administration, or is it building and grounds? I think it's mainly highway stuff we're talking about, though, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we'll let the committee come back with a recommendation, okay? Is everybody good with that?
We'll work on setting up a meeting later today.
Okay, good, sounds good.
Okay, and
Star,
how I can help. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. Anybody got anything else to talk about before we go into the regular session? No, we don't have anything, okay. We can't start the regular session till 10:30 because that's what we advertised it as, just in case somebody else wants to get on. I don't want to start it ahead of time. I don't know if somebody might want to get on or not.
Feel free to talk to me.
Kenny, I sent you a message on the resolution on 120. It's basically, we would accept $10,000 in revenue, not 20, because 10 of that's ours already. And then the appropriation would be 10,000. You can leave the appropriation as is, those two $5,000 figures.
Okay, yeah, I'll change that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Let's see what else. We did get a notice today that I sent to everybody on I can't say that it's on horses and riding stables and things like that. And we got some direction on churches, minor direction on churches and outside venues for religious activities.
You talked to him. I got a letter from Donna's talked to him. I got a letter. You got a letter, okay, good. He's got everything he needs. Kip's gonna survey it, so we're on something. Okay.
And I think as Kip, maybe you know more about this, but I think is was it June 5th, June 6th, the DMV expires? The emergency order on DMVs, or executive order?
My understanding is the governor's executive order expires June 6th, which covers DMVs. So DMVs can't open until after that expires. And we also hope that he doesn't extend it, or whatever his new executive order is going to be, that we're not included. I was told last weekend by the governor's people that DMVs are not part of the phases, and that we will open when he tells us we can open, okay? So what I told you a week ago is we were hoping to open June 1st, has been pushed back a week, so now we're hoping we can open June 8th. That's my understanding currently. As we all know, it changes day to day, so I am under the assumption that once his executive order expires June 6th, that we will hopefully be able to open June 8th by appointments.
And are you all set for that if that happened?
I think we're prepared. We're prepared in the office, obviously with the new social distancing, and we've got the barriers in place. The only thing is when we do open, I will probably have to call back a couple of staff members. I still currently have 4 out in DMV, so maybe at that time, but we'll see where we are a week from now, whether it actually happens.
Okay.
You,
Thank you.
so Kip, a question from Lindy. You had mentioned you were going to start taking appointments ahead of that time. What would you be targeting for starting to take appointments?
You know, I would, once we firmly heard, you know, maybe the Thursday before, you know, once we get more guidance from the governor, I mean, if he does something different and says, you know, DMVs need to be closed, I don't want to jump the gun any more than what we already have. So I mean, maybe the Thursday, June 5th, we'll have a clear idea of what he's doing, and at that point in time, we can start taking appointments. You know, we'll know more. It's a couple weeks out yet, so hopefully when he drafts a new executive order that we're not included, and he'll give us the opportunity to open our offices.
So it's a wait and see, more or less.
Moment it is, yes it is. Not unless you know, you guys as legislators are sitting in with this regional thing. You know, I can only urge you to push the people that you're talking to on the state level and say that DMV is an essential service in the North Country. I think it's important that you get that message to your contacts so that he will forward it along. I mean, people that are trying to register or switch plates over, I mean, we've been 3 months shut down now. You know, it's tough to live in the North Country without a vehicle for that long, especially once people start going back to work and start needing transportation. You know, that's the only way they can get to and from. You know, we're doing everything we can possibly by mail, but at some point in time, people need to visit an office, and until we're allowed to have people in the office, it is a definite hardship for our constituents.
Yep. And on the control panel, I brought that up at least once, maybe twice, but I'll keep bringing it up that we need to know the answer on that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's 10:29 by my computer, so hopefully in just a minute we'll do the pledge to the flag, and then I don't see a flag. Are you in your office? You got your flag there? Do you have your flag?
There's one outside the building here.
I can't see that.
We have my
Why did I have
flag right here.
Andrea's bringing hers over. Okay, we got Andrea's flag.
Right shoulder.
Andrea, you can lead us.
Again, she screwed up last time.
Oh, we got somebody creative here.
Oh, look at that.
For those of you that can't see, Donna just put a flag up on the screen. So if we can stand and pledge allegiance to the flag, and rather than everybody, I'm going to mute mine and
What?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you. Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome. That is a new skill I just learned.
I'd have had everybody shut off by the time I got that up there. Okay, you want start with roll call, Penny?
Legislator Lozon.
Here.
Legislator
Here. Wait, here.
Legislator Lockwood.
Here.
Legislator Dubuque.
We're getting a lot of background noise from something. There we go. Something. It's better now.
Legislator Dubuque.
Yes.
Legislator Maroon. Legislator Ellis.
Yes.
Okay, so I prepared the minutes from the May 7th and the May 14th meeting.
Get a motion in a second.
I make a motion.
You made the motion. And who seconded it?
Accept the minutes.
Second it.
Paul Maroon seconded it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, you said.
Those opposed, nay? Motion carried.
For correspondence, I have the extension of the declaration of state of emergency from Chairman Donald DeVue for 30 days from May 12th, 2020.
Can I have a motion to accept the communications?
I'll move. Lindy?
Lindy, Paul and Lindy? Any discussion? I think we decided that at our last meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay? Motion carried.
Okay, so I'll go into resolutions. Resolution number 13, offered by Human Resource Committee relating to authorization to accept and appropriate funds, Office for the Agent.
So moved.
Okay, Andrea made the motion. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Lindy seconded. No. Penny, why don't we start doing roll call vote? That way we know that who said what, okay?
Yep.
Any discussion first? Okay, we'll go roll call vote then.
Okay, Legislator DeVue,
Yes.
Legislator Maroon,
Yes.
Legislator Ellis,
Yes.
Legislator Lozon,
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski,
Yes.
Legislator Dumas,
Yes.
Legislator Lockwood.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passed with 7 ayes. Resolution number 114, offered by Human Resource Committee relating to proclaiming May 2020 Mental Health Awareness Month.
So moved.
Motion is Andrea, second.
I'll second.
I'll move it. Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Well, I'll do a roll call vote. Sorry, Penny.
Legislator DeVue,
Yes.
Legislator Maroon,
Yes.
Legislator Ellis,
Yes.
Legislator Lozon,
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski,
Yes.
Legislator Dumas,
Yes.
Legislator Lockwood.
Did we lose your head?
Yes. No, yes.
Okay, resolution adopted by 7 ayes. Resolution number 115, offered by Human Resource Committee relating to authorization to pay 2019 contracts from 2020 funds, community services.
A motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
I'll
second it, Donnie Eddie.
Second it? Okay. Any discussion? Now, the budget money just rolled over from 2019 to 20, right? So the money's still there and everything, right? Donna?
Suzanne's on, so Suzanne, do you want to field the question?
Oh, yeah, right.
Good morning. Yes, that's correct. We were advised by the auditor and the treasurer to roll the 2019 funds to 2020, so they are there.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any more discussion? Let's do a roll call vote then.
Legislator DeVue,
Yes.
Legislator Maroon,
Yes.
Legislator Ellis,
Yes.
Legislator Lozon,
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski,
Yes.
Legislator Dumas, Legislator Lockwood.
Yes.
The resolution was adopted by 7 ayes. Resolution number 116, offered by Human Resource Committee relating to authorization to pay 2019 contract from 2020 funds, community services.
Okay, motion is. A second? Paul Maroon seconded. Any discussion? This is basically the same thing, right?
Yes, correct. There was just a delay in the receipt of the executed contracts when we amended them last fall. So we rolled the money once again.
Okay, thank you. Oh, roll call vote, Betty? Sorry.
Legislator Review,
Yes.
Legislator Maroon,
Yes.
Legislator Ellis,
Yes.
Legislator Lobezon,
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski,
Yes.
Legislator Dumas,
Yes.
Legislator Lockwood,
Yes.
resolution adopted by 7 ayes. Resolution number 117, offered by Human Resource Committee, relating to authorization of the 2019 claims from 2020 funds, community services.
Motion and a second.
Yes.
Andrea and Paul? Any discussion? Do a roll call vote?
Legislator Review,
Yes.
Legislator Maroon, Legislator Maroon,
Yes.
Legislator Ellis,
I'll vote twice.
Yes.
Legislator Lobezon,
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski,
Yes.
Legislator Dumas,
Yes.
and Lockwood.
Yes.
Resolution adopted by 7 ayes. Resolution number 118, offered by Human Resource Committee, relating to authorization to enter into a contract and amend 2020 budget, community services.
Motion and a second.
So,
Andrea? Paul? Any discussion?
Don, there was some issues with the account numbers, so I fixed them, so I changed them. So the amounts are still the same, the 50,000 for revenue and 50,000 for SOC grant.
Okay, sounds good then. No more discussion, we can do a roll call vote again?
Okay, Legislator DeVue,
Yes.
Legislator Maroon,
Yes.
Legislator Ellis,
Yes.
Lobezon,
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski,
Yes.
Legislator Dumas, Legislator Lockwood,
Yes. Yes.
adopted by 7 ayes. Resolution number 119, offered by Administrative Committee, relating to authorization to abolish positions that are no longer needed.
You get a motion in a second. Paul? In a second?
Greg will.
Okay, did somebody say they would?
Greg did.
Okay. Any discussion?
did we review all those positions with department heads? So they all know coming forward that those will be abolished?
I believe the list came from personnel. I'd have to circle back to them on that.
Okay. I assume,
I was gonna give them all a copy of this too if it passed.
So this is Kim. These positions some of them didn't have funding for 2020. So they sit there vacant. Sometimes department heads will reorganize and create another position, but if the resolution creating that didn't say to abolish a previous, then it just sits there. So half of these are probably from that vacant list, and the other half Donna had gone through, but she could circle back to department heads, or I'm not sure how you want to handle that, Donna.
Well, what I thought was, since they've been sitting there vacant, instead of having them open and listed in the 2021 budget, because sometimes what's happened in the past is then salaries and fringe get assigned to those positions in the budget, and that really throws the budget off. So what can happen is if there's a real need, then we can circle back and they can request to create the position and go through that process. Would you agree with that, Kim?
Absolutely.
So it was more to safeguard the preparation for the 2021 budget and not have salaries put into lines that exist within the budget. But there, again, I just want to say there's nothing stopping if there's a real, need, then they can create the position again and you can approve that.
It's more of a housekeeping thing than anything.
It is. I mean, there's always a way to put the position back in.
Go ahead, Paul.
But Donna, so if we take these out of the budget for next year and we go to Adam, we're gonna have to take that money out of contingency because it won't be a line item, right?
Right. Well, or sometimes they come and say, we can find it in our budget, or, we've not filled this position, we want to fill this one.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, Donna and Kim, just for clarification, these are positions that have been unfilled, and they're not anybody that's just recently been laid off.
That's absolutely right. None of these have anyone assigned to them currently. These are all like people, either natural attrition or, like I said, positions that were not funded in 2020, and they're just a line item sitting there with zero funds.
Thank you for the clarification. Thank you for asking.
Any more discussion?
Mine was the one that was created for me in February, remember? Yeah. I just, due to things going on, I just didn't fill it, remember? Yeah, good.
So I can do a roll call?
Yep.
Legislator Debut?
Yes.
Legislator Maroon?
Yes.
Legislator Ellis?
Yes.
Legislator Lozon?
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski?
Yes.
Legislator Dumas?
Yes.
Legislator Lockwood?
Yes.
Okay, resolution adopted by 7 ayes. Resolution number 120, offered by Public Safety Committee, relating to authorization to accept grant and amend 2020 budget, Sheriff's Department.
Okay, get a motion in a second.
I move it. Lindy?
Lindy, in a second.
One second. I got it.
Okay, somebody in there got a penny. Any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, we'll do a roll call vote.
Oh, sorry, I was talking. Sorry, just 1 second. Sorry. Who's the PREA coordinator? Or a compliance manager?
They didn't say that in their, it's going to be, it's here. It's going to be Ed Work and Scott Hudson, one of them. I don't know which one, but that's the two they named.
And what type of educational material will they be getting?
They're going to get reference books, pocket guides, training videos, posters, and education materials for inmates. Yes, on March 6th, the sheriff came in and talked about it on the March 6th board meeting.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Now we do a roll call vote.
Okay, Legislator Debut?
Yes.
Legislator Maroon?
Yes.
Legislator Ellis?
Yes.
Legislator Lozon?
Yes.
Legislator Januszewski?
Yes.
Legislator Dumas?
Yes.
Legislator Lockwood?
Yes.
Okay, resolution was adopted with 7 ayes. And that's all I have for resolutions.
Is there anything else to come for this, Paul?
Don, there's been some misunderstanding, I guess, on the resolution we passed last time, trying to tie in like Oneida County did. And I talked to Katie Strack this morning, and what I'd like to do is so she can send it, what it is, Oneida County goes to a different section of health department than our region does. And it wasn't the exact language. So what she's asked me is if we amend this to do the exact language, they will send it back up to our region. And Senator Little and Assemblyman Jones have told me they will talk to our region's health people because it's in effect in Oneida County. And I think it's probably the most important thing we can do is to keep masks on people. And I'd like to just amend the resolution that we passed last week to be the exact same resolution. You can all see this as Oneida counties, the exact language, nothing different except say Franklin County instead of Oneida County, and we're pretty sure that it will pass. There was a paragraph that was a little, I guess, a little not desirable in their last one.
I'm not even, I thought it was exactly because me and Penny went down.
It's not.
But we did talk to Kara Griffin about that yesterday, and actually, I thought it was exact, so I said that we'd send in the exact same thing. I didn't realize it, but I did get an email this morning from them saying that if we take that last sentence out, it's fine.
And we had a good discussion with Beth Garvey, the special counsel to the governor yesterday as well. And she said, I'm going to look into this because in our control room meeting, she referenced that there should be some capabilities of enforcement as a last resort under Public Health 12B.
It is, but I don't mean to interrupt, but what happened is I'm looking at both of them and we added a couple little things that are different. I think if we just make it the same.
They're real minor things, I think.
Yes, they are, Don.
They don't really change the wording much, but they're there.
So just if I make a motion to amend last week's to be the exact same as Oneida's, and we have a copy, Donna has it, I think.
Paul, why do we figure we need this and when we have the states already mandating this? Why do we figure we need this, Paul? I'm just asking a question.
The state mandate doesn't actually say inside of buildings. It says if someone's not within 6 feet, they have to have the mask on. Someone doesn't have the mask on outside, that's a violation. But if you're in a building, in a public building or a commercial building, it doesn't really say that you have to have it on within 6 feet.
Okay, who enforces this?
Excuse me?
Who enforces this?
Any police officer in the state of New York. It's not that we're going to ticket everybody. It's just so people understand that it's more than some people just don't follow it. They say, well, if it's not the law, I don't have to do it. So if you can say it's the law, then you got one less hurdle to get over. It's no big. I don't care because I just think it's a really good thing to do, and it's the same reason that you're seeing Burlington just passed one the other night. 2 or 3 other of the smaller cities in Vermont passed it, and it's just to make sure that people wear a mask when they're out in public.
Unless they have some respiratory.
Unless they have a respiratory issue or they're under 2 years old.
So have the state police been told that they have to move this forward when they get called?
Look, the state police, the local police, you can talk to Craig Carrero. I've talked to them as late as last night. I've been told first you try to say, look, please put a mask on or stay out 6 feet. And they say, hey, look, I don't have to do it. Please do it for your health, for everybody's health. I'm not going to do it, period. Then they may write a citation.
So who's going to write the citation? The police? And then the government
can't write it. It's either the police. It's got to be the police.
And the police are going to. And if somebody can't wear a mask because of physical or mental, they're exempt.
Yes. And it said it in there.
And then
a doctor's note?
So do they have to have a doctor's note? Because doctors won't write. I'm hearing from people that doctors will not write them a note. And I'm hearing
look, no big deal because we can enforce it without it, but it's just protecting everybody. I'm just telling you, you don't want to do it. I have no problem not passing it. because I can enforce it here. And I'll just have to say the county didn't want to pass it. That's all. I think I don't see what the big deal is. Do it. That's fine with me.
Clinton County, I was in a couple places yesterday, and they have it on the door, mask required. I mean, the business owners put that on their own doors. I mean, just.
That's good.
I think that's good too. I mean, that's even better than passing a law, personally, Nate, but.
Okay.
So can we have the final version of this resolution? Do we have the final version typed up of the changes that we're going to put in this resolution?
It's, I think I sent it to everybody.
Penny and I are both here. We can work on the public health order and resolution. And I would like to have it, run by somebody that says it's identical. I thought ours that we did before was identical, quite honestly. I think we said
it was not identical. I have it right here. I've sent it to just about everybody. I'll resend it to everybody.
I just sent it to all of you for review, and where it says Oneida, it would say Franklin, right, Paul?
I saw that, and I saw the changes with the handwriting. So I'm going to withdraw my I'm not going to vote on this until we get the actual copy from Penny and the attorney, just so we make sure all the changes are in there, unless we can get that before we come out of order.
I think he has a copy of it, but Donna, do you have the?
I have. I thought me and Penny went through it. Then we went through. There wasn't a whole lot of differences.
I have the Oneida one, and how are we gonna? Do we have a copy of the incorporated notes from the Oneida paperwork on ours?
I emailed this to everyone a couple of weeks ago.
I'm going to take the Oneida resolution and just wherever it says Oneida County, put in Franklin.
I just sent you all that the copy of the Oneida.
Hey, look, I don't want to waste everybody's time on this. If you don't want to do it, it's fine with me. But I just thought it was a good idea to do.
Concerned about the law enforcement end. I know, I'm hearing
your law enforcement people can be enforcing the law right now. They're not going to go out and ticket everybody, but it's so that people understand there's more than just, hey, I think it's a good idea. You say it's the law. But I don't care. I'm not hung up on it.
Okay, Paul, just a question that I don't mean to carry it on, but if we put in another layer as far as the state has it, we put another layer, does it change the enforcement issue that the state can come back and say, no, that's a local issue, that's a local law, you got to enforce it?
Governor
that's the only thing, my concern. That's my
the
concern.
governor has said already that local officials will enforce his executive orders.
I mean, I've got parents calling me that, I tried to put a mask on my grandson the other night, and it was, traumatizing.
I'm going to ticket that kid.
He's too young.
I know, but to see what these parents are talking about putting masks on, there was an 8-year-old at one of the doctor's offices yesterday.
Andrea, it's already the law.
I know.
Yeah, Mayor, we doing it. Yeah, it's already the law.
Executive order already.
Don, do you want to share what? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I talked to on the phone last night, and because we talked about enforcement last night on our call or yesterday afternoon, and they said that the state police would enforce whatever if it was against any of the executive orders that they would enforce. And I said, well, what about if local police forces don't want to enforce? And they said they would talk to them.
And that came from Deputy Superintendent of the New York State Police, Mr. Bruin. I have to look up my notes first.
Why aren't they enforcing the governor's ruling? Why do we have to put another layer on? So
exactly.
But if the state police are saying that, I mean, why aren't they enforcing their own boss's ruling?
They're not going to ticket everybody for not wearing a mask. We're going to put 40,000 people. We're going to write 40,000 tickets in Franklin County. I mean, that's
not.
You just want to be able to say, look, put a mask on. I don't want to put a mask on. please put a mask on, or disperse with it. If you don't, it's the law. They say, oh, it's the law. Okay, I'll put a mask on.
Also,
Reason for this. That's the only reason.
Also, one of the things that they said too was that they want the soft approach that the local authorities, like the local, like we do now. If we have an issue, we let the legislator of that area know, or we go talk to them and we talk about it. And usually it can be resolved without any police force or anything involved at all. The way we've been doing it now, and I think it's been working pretty good. But
Right. I don't mind calling people up and, explaining the situation. I'm just, I've gotten phone call after phone call from residents really concerned that they can't wear the mask. And I explained to them, if you can't, don't go to the store in the middle of like the rush hours at 5 o'clock or on Saturday and Sundays. Try to limit your store activity. Now I've got parents calling upset about their kids going into the doctor's offices. The doctor's offices won't allow them in the offices without a mask on. I guess it's just, we're just trying to get through the frustration of the residents, and then us on top of Governor Cuomo's executive order, we're putting another layer for us to have to run around and, discipline people because of a mask.
Hey, no problem.
I mean, I'm just one voice. I mean, there's 7 of us. I'm one voice.
I'll pull it. No problem.
So Don and Donna, from the discussion last night, did that change your thinking on this?
I really don't know what to think on it. Actually, they told us they were going to come back with some more direction on that too, though. They were going to get us more information. So I'm hoping we get some more information today. But.
So maybe we should table this
for now unless we get new information. I think it's repetitious. Can we leave it as it is right now with the state executive order unless something new comes down the line where it warrants it more? Right now, I think it's another layer that's repetitious.
Okay, so if one person doesn't want this anyways, because it's from the floor, we have to table it. So
I just think what we need to stress, whether there's a local resolution or a public health order, at the end of the day, there is an executive order that really puts in the guidelines of what people need to do around masks when they're in businesses and what people need to do whenever they're in any kind of public area and cannot maintain 6 feet of social distancing. And our message really needs to be clear. Doesn't matter whether we agree with that or not. There is an existing executive order, and we have, that's where it stands right now. Regardless of what else we do, that does need to be our message, because I feel like as a government, we're obligated to support the existing executive order.
And that's fine. I understand that. I think what happened was the article that the newspaper wrote with the $2,000 fine really stirred, a negative on something that we were trying to do with the health of the people. So, I think it was how the wording was that we're just going to go out there and ticket every single person. We're not looking to ticket every single person. We understand that people may not be able to wear these masks, but we're asking them to wear these masks. I think it's the way that we word it in the article to the average person reading it. It just.
How about if we do this? How about if Penny and I redraft the paperwork? We'll table it for now. We'll redraft the paperwork, send it out to everyone, and we can bring it up at the next discussion.
I mean, we can call another meeting to order. I mean,
Don, just table. I table it.
Okay, we'll table it. And we'll let behind the scenes, maybe John and Penny can look at that and then we'll get the board to look at it and see where we go from there. Okay.
We'll work on it this morning.
That sounds good.
Anything else to come before the board? We have Chris with us today, and on mental. Chris wants to talk a little bit about mental health.
Hello, folks. I'd like to say thank you for the resolution of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. and actions have been taken here in town. I'm just happy to have you guys and your support. I just want to say one thing about something that happened the other day, and our mayor and legislator Dumas said hello to somebody. And just saying hello to somebody was enough to have them register to vote, which is more than anything I want. Because, you know, I'm part of the American Association of People with Disabilities, and we're from June 10th, we're doing the voter registration. So we want to get all our people and get rid of the stigma so that we have a voice. And I'd like to ask one thing. Can anybody tell me what someone with a disability looks like? Because I hear that all the time. They don't look like they have a disability. Why don't they work? And that's all I want to say with the anti-stigma. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. We do appreciate you coming in and talking.
You've done a lot of great things, Chris, in our community. We appreciate it. We've watched you out cleaning at the police station, at the Memorial Garden, in front of the Flanagan. You scraped Main Street last weekend. So you know what, Chris, you guys have done a great job. So thank you for advocating for, you know, all of your friends and colleagues.
Peers.
Your peers. Thank you, Chris.
Is there anything else anyone would like to say? Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn. We're going to go into executive session. We have some litigation to talk about. Can I get a motion, a second to go into executive, Paul? Right? Yeah. I'll do a roll call vote, Penny. It's just easier than hearing 40 yeses.
Okay, Legislator Lozon?
Yes.
Legislator Jancewski?
Yes.
Legislator Dumas? Legislator Lockwood?
Yes.
Legislator Debut?
Yes.
Legislator Maroon?
Franklin County Dispatch.
Legislator Ellis?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna shut this recording on.
Okay, so
and-
Chris,